everybody and welcome to the channel again. Here I am at Winterset, which is just south of Wakefield. Beautiful country park which has got lots of wildlife and a game reserve and bird hides for people viewing wildlife and things like that. It's absolutely beautiful today. Nice dramatic sky, which is going to be great for some watercolour painting. So I'm going to get the shots I need, guys, with my camera just on the phone. That's more than adequate for doing just small to medium sized paintings in watercolour. It's a nice little reference point. I'll take quite a few different shots, different angles at different little spots just along the banking, just up there. Just an indication of the horizon there and just a little bit of what's going on. It's going to be my shoreline. There we go. And we'll leave that there. Another rock just here. We've got a nice rock in the water just there. That's it. Okay. So I've got some nice clean water, and as before, we're going to put that wash on. Put enough on, not too much, just enough, and then work it in nice and softly. And you know when you've got enough because you can see the paper glistening there with the wetness of the liquid, the fluid that you're putting down. There we go, nice and steady. Spread it around, and then, as before, we're just going to let that soak in. And give it a few minutes just to absorb. So it's not absolutely dripping wet, but it's just nice and damp, and that'll take the first bit of paint really nice. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, if you look at the horizon line there, everything in the foreground is more prominent, and as things fade away into the distance, they'll become less prominent and a little bit more faded and subdued. The same thing applies with a sky. Things in the distance are a little bit more subdued, and then as we come further forward up here, and the perspective comes nearer to us, things are going to be a little bit more prominent, and that's kind of what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to treat a sky quite often in exactly the same way that we'll treat things on the ground and the actual land area. So we started with a flat wash, just water straight onto the Fabriano paper, and then we came in here, didn't we, and we started putting some blues in, and we darkened up a little bit over here, and we brought a bit of warmth in here. The sunlight is sort of coming over here, so it's just a little bit of that warmth, and a little bit of a cloud formation just over there, which is a bit more distant, as you can see, because that's down near the horizon line, so could be miles away, quite literally, in reality. Left it to dry, and then we've just gone back in and we've just added a little bit more depth with a second wash, dry on dry, and then I've gone into it and just softened it off that little bit, and I'm going to leave it at that. Right guys, I'm back. I had a little bit of a break there. I had to take some painkillers for the old osteoarthritis. Things were getting a bit bad. Anyway, that's settled down and we're back to it, eh? Oh, and guess what? Cup of tea always makes things much, much better. Oh, got some clean water. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to put the wash in for the lake, the water, just here. This is not to actually apply the waves or the reflections as such. This is more for dropping in the tonal colours that are the reflection of the sky, and that's the first thing that I'm going to do. So, nice little bit of water there, and again, as always, let's make use of that fabulous Fabriano paper and let it just soak in like a little sponge. Give it a few minutes. Awesome. Faint amount just there. A little bit's just here as well. Not too much. I'm using French ultramarine. It's my favourite blue, and it's certainly the one that I use for most of the bases for the skies. And of course, the sky reflects into the water, which is a complete mirror of nature, as we would say. A bit more just up there. That'll do. Again, let's let that dry. Let's wait a few minutes. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, and it won't be too long now, it's nearly done, I just want to say a big thank you for people that have commented and responded on this new YouTube channel of mine. I didn't expect to get so much reaction, to be honest with you. I thought I was just going to be this old guy at 58 with osteoarthritis, just milling around, taking pictures of things and going out into nowhere in the all weathers with some brushes and an easel and messing around, trying to fight the wind. And, you know, here we are. And it's been fantastic, so thank you for that. One lady in particular really stood out for me, and there's been many people, thank you, and thank you so much for everyone that's asking questions and things like that. I will try and respond to everybody. I'll always do that. If people are going to come on here and give me feedback and take their time, I'm going to give that time back, even if it's just the quickest of responses or whatever it is, you know. Rosalind, who sent me a message, 91-year-old lady who's seen my video, and it's inspired her to get back, getting the brushes out and watercolours and things like that, and start painting again. Absolutely amazing. That's what it's all about. My colours here are cadmium yellow, a little bit of that sap green, and we've got that alizarin crimson, just bringing some darkness back in. And if we just want to go a little bit darker tonally, guess what? Neutral tint. And I'm just going to put some of that down here. Not too much. I will come back to this shortly and just put the slightest amount of detail and tone in there just to give it some body. But as we start getting down here now, got some basis of and tonal range of colours there, just as my base. A little bit of structure, and then I'm going to work back in. I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to work back into it with just a minimal amount of details, just to bring it to life and put some form into it. Again, there's lots and lots of different manufacturers of papers, particularly watercolour papers. I have used them all over the years, but again, I've stuck with this since the 90s. Before that, when I was at college and uni, I was skint, got no money really as a student, so I used whatever I could. But when I found this, it transformed my work, and my technique and style now, and the way that I paint is very much dictated to by this paper. You know, it's hand in hand really. It's one of your tools for your job. Okay, so I'm happy with that. There's enough detail in there, not too much, just nice and, just a few suggestions. Leave it at that there. Now earlier we dropped down a very, very soft, translucent sort of wash there, and there's just that little bit of blue going on, which has just helped to bring some colour into there and some translucency, if you like. Well, as always, thank you for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of my watercolours. We've done a bit of sky, we've done a bit of water today, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope you have. Thank you so much for all the messages of support that people are sending in, and I really hope that you get some value out of what I'm doing and it helps you in your creative journey. We'll have another watercolour landscape next week for you, and I'm sure it's going to be great. We're going to have some great fun. Hopefully we'll have some great weather as well, and we can take advantage of that light, which is the most important thing in everything that we do when it comes to landscapes in particular. I'll see you again soon.